So students, now we will read our next topic from the book, that is Introduction to Computer Memory. Okay, now see, look at your books. In computing, memory refers to the physical devices used to store programs or data. What is memory? It refers to the physical devices. For what memory is used? It is used to store data on a temporary or permanent basis for use in computer or other digital electronic devices, and it may be stored temporarily or permanently. Okay, so what is memory? It is a device used for storage of data for temporary or permanent. The term memory applies to any electronic component capable of temporarily storing data. Now we will see there are two main categories of memories. So children, let's see the two main categories of memories. So you already know that there are two types of memories. How many types of memories are there? There are two types of memories, internal memory and external memory. So let's see what is an internal memory. It is a primary memory that is directly accessible by CPU. Yes, that is inside the CPU and it is directly accessible by the CPU or the processor, and it is called main memory. What is called? It is called main memory. Internal memory is called main memory or the primary memory. So, instructions or data to be executed are copied to the main memory for execute. Whatever the instructions or data we give as an input are copied to the main memory, and it is directly accessible by the computer. So, it is very fast also. Now, external memory, we say external memory, it is a secondary memory. Okay, it is a secondary memory, also known as auxiliary memory. It is made up of magnetic and optical material. It is made up of magnetic and optical material, whereas the internal memory, it is made up of semiconductors. Internal memory is made up of semiconductor, but external memory is made up of magnetic or optical material. The data to be stored permanently is kept in secondary memory. The data kept permanently is kept in secondary memory, and the data that is kept temporarily, that is kept in primary memory or the main memory, and secondary memory is also known as auxiliary memory. Now let us see the differences in both the memories. So now look, internal memory also known as main memory, it is also known as primary memory. External memory, that is known as auxiliary memory, also known as secondary memory. Now it is volatile in nature. Internal memory is volatile in nature. By nature it is volatile. It means when the work is complete, your system is off, the data saved in it is totally erased, is totally gone. Whereas external memory, it is non-volatile in nature. Data is permanently saved. It is not erased. We can use the data in future for our further use. Now, in internal memory, data access is faster. In external memory, data access is slower. Why? Do you know? It is because the data access in the primary memory is directly accessible by the CPU or the processor. But in this, it is secondary memory, it is bigger memory, the memory size is big and the data is more, it will process slower. Okay, memory size is small in primary memory, the size of memory is small, memory size is large. So if the size is small, then it will access faster, and size is large, the data access is slower. It is costly. Internal memory is costly, and it is external memory. It is also costly, but cheaper than the primary memory or the main memory. Okay, it is also costly, but it is much cheaper than the primary memory. Some examples of internal memory are RAM, ROM, cache memory. Okay. And the examples for the external memory are optical disk, floppy disk, flash memory, etc. These are the examples. So I hope all of you understood the main difference between two memories. There are two categories of memories. It is internal memory and external memory. Now you should once again read it and from the book, also see the video, so that you can understand it much easier and you can learn it easily. Okay. Memory management. The different types of memory in the system must be used properly. In memory management, we can say that there are different types of memory and it should be used properly so that the processing of each data, so that the process of each data or all the process should run effectively, or it process properly and in proper time. Now, so children, our next topic in this chapter is RAM. Okay, that is random access memory. RAM, random access memory. Okay, so now we will read what is RAM and what are its types. So you have already studied what is RAM. All of you know RAM. It is a main memory. It is main memory. So it is a volatile memory, or we can say that it is a type of memory when the computer is shut down or turned off. The data stored in the RAM is erased. It is a temporary memory. Data is temporarily stored on the RAM. So it is called RAM, RAM, randomly accessed. Random access, because we can say that it's random access because we can access any memory cell directly if we know the row and column of the cell. So it is called random access. The more the RAM, the faster the process is, faster the program can run. If the computer RAM is more, the processing of the computer is faster, and there are two types of RAM. How many types of RAM? Yes children, there are two types of RAM. One is SRAM and one is DRAM. That is DRAM, it is dynamic RAM, or we can say dynamic random access memory. And second one is SRAM, that is static random access memory. Okay, so let's see. Dynamic RAM, it is need to be constantly refreshed. We have to regularly refresh it. If we don't refresh it, the data stored on this type of RAM will be erased. Data stored on this RAM will be erased, and this RAM is used in main memory. Important thing, this RAM is used in main memory. Second one is SRAM, that is static RAM, that is random access memory. Random access memory, that is used for cache memory. That is used for cache memory, and it is one thing more. It doesn't need to be constantly refreshed. Okay, it doesn't need to be constantly refreshed. It is faster than DRAM. SRAM, static RAM, is faster than DRAM, but it is costly. It is costlier than the DRAM. Okay. So children, now we will read something about ROM. You know ROM? Yes, you have read it in your previous classes also. What is ROM? The full form of ROM is read only memory. Read only memory. Let's see what is ROM. First thing, you have studied ROM is a non-volatile memory. Means that data stored on ROM is not erased when the computer is turned off. Data is permanently stored. Contents can't be changed. The contents what has been loaded in the ROM can't be changed. We can't change the contents of the ROM. Let's see some features of the ROM. The contents are fixed when manufactured. The contents are loaded when the ROM is manufactured. So it is when the manufacturer loaded the contents, and after once it is done, it can't be ever changed. Okay? It holds bootstrap of OS. It is when the OS is on booting or it starts, it holds its bootstrap. It holds its process of booting. Data retains when computer is turned off. The data stored on the ROM is permanently saved. It is not deleted or erased whenever the light is gone, power is off, or we can say we have shut down our PC. Okay? We have shut down our system. Data is permanently stored. So we can again retrieve it, we can again use it. So these are the some features of the ROM. Let's now study about three more types, okay, of ROM. That is PROM, EPROM and EEPROM. Let's see PROM. It is programmable ROM. Programmable ROM. Full form is programmable read only memory. Okay, programmable read only memory. The contents are put or loaded when the chip is manufactured. The contents in this type of ROM are loaded when the chip is manufactured and can't be changed. The contents of this type of ROM cannot be changed. Okay? Second one is EPROM. That is erasable ROM. So full form again is erasable programmable read-only memory. Erasable programmable read-only memory. Okay? This is again like PROM, but in EPROM, when the chip is removed, the contents are deleted, but another contents are loaded in place of those contents which are deleted. So it is also like PROM. Now third one is EEPROM. Electrically EPROM means electrically erasable programmable read only memory. Again listen carefully. Electrically erasable programmable read only memory. In this type of chip or in this type of ROM, the programs are erased using electricity. In this, the contents are erased using electricity, but another contents are changed while selected. The selected contents are changed in place of them, and it is reprogrammed. Okay? I hope so you have understood the difference between PROM, EPROM and EEPROM. EEPROM. Okay? So children, now we will study our next topic, that is cache memory. Cache memory is a smaller memory. It is faster memory which stores copies of data which stores copies of data from frequently used main memory. Okay, it is very small memory, faster memory, which uses data from the main memory, frequently used main memory. Okay, so cache memory, it is a smaller memory and faster memory which uses data that is frequently used in main memory. It also enhances the speed of the CPU. It also enhances the performance of CPU. Okay, so it is very small and faster memory. It enhances, it takes the data from the frequently used main memory, makes the copies of data from the frequently used main memory, and it also increases the performance of the CPU. Okay, so children, our next topic is memory unit. Like the CPU, memory is made up of silicon chips containing circuits. Memory is made up of silicon chips. It is all having circuits and holding data represented by on/off of electrical states or bits, that is zeros and ones. 8 bits together form a byte. Memory is usually measured in megabytes or gigabytes. Let's see how these bits are divided. Okay, so these are divided in So how this are divided? One bit is equal to zeros or ones, that is binary numbers. Okay, and one number is equal to 4 bits. 1 byte is equal to 8 bits. 1 kilobyte is equal to 1024 bytes. Okay. 1 megabyte is equal to 1024 KB, that is kilobyte. 1 GB, 1 gigabyte is equal to 1024 MB, that is megabyte. Okay. Now is it clear? 1 TB, terabyte is equal to 1024 gigabyte. 1 TB, that is equal to 104 TB, terabyte, and so on. Like this, petabyte, terabyte, and like this, all this memory unit are divided. how we use these memories in our computers. Okay, so children, you must learn it. Okay, read it well and learn them well. So children, we will now continue our next topic, that is secondary storage devices. Okay. A secondary storage device is referred to any volatile storage device that is internal or external to the computer. It is a type of storage devices that may be internal or external. It can be any storage device beyond the primary storage that enables permanent data storage. It can be any storage device. It may be any type of storage device, may be beyond the primary storage, other than the primary storage, that enables permanent storage, data storage, in which the permanent data can be stored. We can store any type of data permanently. A secondary storage device is also known as auxiliary storage. This we already have studied before in the previous topic, or external storage. Okay, it is also known as auxiliary storage device or external storage. Now let's see some features of this type of storage. It holds data even when computer is turned off. Whenever by mistake or by if the light fluctuation or the power is off, or we shut down the computer, or by any means if the computer is put on off or it is shut down, then it holds the data. Means data is permanently stored in this type of storage. Two primary storage technologies are. There are two technologies of primary storage, that is magnetic and optical. This also we have studied in this chapter. Two storage are magnetic and optical. Now, what are some examples? Let's see. Two examples of this type of storage are floppy disk, hard disk. In both these devices, we can permanently store our data and keep it for further use. Okay? Is it clear, children? Okay. Now, I hope so you have understood the chapter well. Now, I again want you to see the video properly and again keep the book in front of you and read the chapter from the book. Okay, by this your chapter is now over, and in the next video we are going to complete our question answers and exercise work. Okay.